Hi, it's Rick, back in the shop. Now I'm going to be starting a project pretty soon where I need to make some pretty accurate cuts. And my old chop saw literally wasn't going to cut it. I've had it at least 20 years and it's not that accurate anymore. So I decided to buy a new one. And I looked at my options and I decided to go with a Harbor Freight saw. So this video is about the unboxing and setup of the Admiral 12-inch sliding miter saw. So this is the box. It's an Admiral Advantage 12-inch sliding compound miter saw. It'll bevel in both directions, has a 15 amp motor, and I got it with a coupon for about $179, and the blade came with it. So let's open it up and see what's in there. So on top is the blade. It's a 60-tooth blade. And that is a good size saw. Okay, instructions, extra brushes, various parts of the saw. Here is the saw itself. It is a beast. It's a huge saw. Clear this stuff away.
It is heavy. I don't feel like lifting it out there. I'm going to cut the box.
It is a monster of a saw. I'm going to have to figure out a place to put it in my shop. So I'm going to install the blade, and I'm going to try to stay out of the camera shot as much as possible. I have read the instructions, and this is how it tells you to do it. So we need to remove this screw. That needs to be loosened up. Take it right out. There we go. And then we can move that right out of the way. So using the wrench that came with the saw, I loosen the arbor, and this is a left-handed thread. So in order to loosen it would be as if I was normally going to tighten something, and there is a spindle lock, but from where I'm standing it's going to be hard for me to reach, so let me readjust myself here. I have to press in the spindle lock and hold it. I'm going to wait for it to catch. There it is. Again, this is a left-handed thread. Now, I don't know if you saw what I did, but there is this arbor insert that goes in. It fits inside the hole in the blade, and it goes between these two flanges. So that needs to go in. Put the flange back on, and then retighten the bolt, remembering that this is a left-handed thread. Moving this guard out of the way makes this fairly simple to do. Again, press down on the spindle lock, tighten it up. I can then put it all back together. And the blade's installed. Next, I'm going to want to make sure that the saw is square, so that when I put it on 0 I know that it's perfectly square. So in order to check that, I'm going to use a square, put it up against the fence, lower the blade, and then put that up against it to see. It's about perfect right there. This is off from the detent that they have in there where it'll automatically stop, but the pointer is dead on. If it wasn't, I would put this where I wanted it, loosen this screw on the pointer, and then put the pointer so it was on the 0. And then I know that when I adjusted it, it would always be correct. So I have that. I want to check the 45 as well. And I'll do that in the same manner, using a 45-degree square. There you go. I'm going to check that the blade is square up and down in the same way. To change the bevel lock is here. You unlock it here, adjust the head, the bevel, to where you want it, and then lock it back down. There is on this side a gauge to indicate the bevel. So the saw also comes with this stabilizer, which is supposed to go in the back of the saw. Not that you would know it from looking at the instructions, because it's not mentioned at all. You have to figure it out by looking at the pictures, I guess. So I've pulled the saw over to the edge of this makeshift bench that I'm using, and I'll get that in. And while I have the saw turned around, I might as well put on the dust collection bag. And you just squeeze the wire together and it fits over the protrusion in the back. So as I mentioned earlier, the saw also came with the wrench to change the blade with, a set of brushes for the motor, this clamp, which is meant to be used as a type of hold fast. You put it in the hole in the back and tighten it down on your piece. I personally have never found the need to use something like this, but it comes with the saw. And lastly, it came with these, which appear to be maybe some type of wire clamp, wire holder, but there's nothing in the directions about them, and I can't see where they go. So I have no idea what they are. Now the directions are good for some things. I mean, it told me about the screw that needed to be released so I could change the blade. That made changing the blade fairly easy. But they are by no means comprehensive. A lot of this stuff you have to figure out for yourself. And if I find out what the use for this is, or if anybody watching knows, leave a comment in the comment section, because I have no idea. The last mystery with this saw before I try it out is this piece. It was in the bottom of the box, and it appears to be made of maybe the same cast metal that some of these handles and things are made out of, but I cannot find an area where this would have broken off from on the saw. I did check the whole thing over. Cannot find it. Maybe it fell in there as it was being packed. I don't know. But the saw is all together. So let's try a test cut. So the light and the laser, I can turn them on separately. So that's the Admiral 12-inch sliding miter saw from Harbor Freight. Now obviously I can't tell you how I like it because I haven't really had a chance to use it, but in a few months I will make a video and let you know. One thing you should keep in mind is that a saw this size takes up a lot of room. It's about 3.5 feet from back to front. So now I've got to figure out a place to put it in my shop. I'd also like to give a shout out to Mr. Virgil Porter, who has become my first patron on my Patreon page. Now I've had a Patreon account for some time now, but I don't push it much and I haven't done much with it. But all that's about to change. There are some plans up there right now, and I'm going to be putting more. And I've been asked to make some more videos on making whirligigs, and I am going to do that in the future. I have 2 videos in the works right now, and in one of them I will be sending Mr. Porter something that I've made in the shop, just as a thank you for becoming my first patron. If you would like to help this channel grow, then please like and subscribe, and think about becoming a patron. And as always, I thank you for watching.